Look who's with us. After winning a record number of seats for the Lib Dems in this year's election, Sir Ed is hoping for more success this Christmas. You were putting your heart and soul in that, weren't you?
Well, they all were.
Yeah.
The young carers have been fantastic, and it's been lovely doing the song with them, the videos, and we sang outside number 10. We then went in for tea. They loved it. It was great.
So tell me what it's all about.
Well, it's all about raising awareness of young carers. They're often not talked about, they're often ignored. The single itself, Love Is Enough, you can download it and help us get up there. The lyrics talk to me as a young carer when I looked after my mum, and I think what they say is that young carers do an amazing job, but it is quite tough out there. And what we're arguing today is the government could do just a little bit more. So, for example, there could be a young carers lead in schools. So if you pick up a young carer, identify some student who's having a tough time because they've got these caring responsibilities, make sure that the staff know. So if they're a bit late for school, don't put them into detention.
Obviously.
If they're struggling with their homework, give them a bit of extra help. Because the evidence shows that young carers, on average, have a few challenges. Absenteeism is much larger amongst young carers. They often have high dropout rates at college, university, because they're away from the person they've looked after, and they feel really worried about that. So I think it is important. I think it would help those individuals, but I also think it would help our society to ensure these young carers can be the great people they can be.
How big a problem is it?
It's huge. I mean, there's some estimates suggest there's 1 million young carers. Now, of those, there'll be some who have quite an intense period where they're sometimes doing more than 50 hours a week caring for a mum or a dad or a brother or sister. Some it's much less. But I still think it triggers something in people that they're not able to focus on their schooling as much as they would like. I remember when I was a young carer, I'd go to school and my mates would be talking about what was on TV the night before or what was in the charts, and I'd be thinking about my mum. And it can isolate you a little bit. So I think it is important that schools and wider society understand this. And that's what we're trying to do, raise awareness and put some ideas out there.
Do you think you're going to beat Wham to number one?
Well, no, I bet you'd have me on again if we do. But
we'll have you on anytime you want.
But download it, iTunes or Amazon, help us beat Wham. Now that would be a story.
It sure would. It sure would. On a serious note, the post office scandal almost over. Well, as far as the inquiry is concerned, almost over now. How heavy has it weighed on you over that time?
Well, I think about the sub-postmasters who've had such appalling experiences. They're waiting for the inquiry to conclude so they can get the justice, and then the police investigations to hold particularly these post office executives who clearly lied. They lied to the sub-postmasters, they lied to the courts, they lied to ministers, they lied to the wider public, and they need to be held to account. The other issue that I'm working for constituents who were affected in my area, but more broadly, hundreds of others, is to get the compensation. The last government dragged their feet on the compensation, which everyone knows and agrees should be paid, and this government still hasn't paid it out to hundreds of sub-postmasters.
They've started paying it out, though, haven't they? And it has been ring-fenced by the Treasury. Well,
that's what we're told, but I can tell you from the experience of looking after some people in my constituency who were sub-postmasters, it's just not happening quick enough. And there are some areas where I just don't think it's even generous enough. And I'm sure if you had the amazing Sir Alan Bates on your programme, he'd be saying, look, they still haven't given the sorts of offers that would satisfy him and all the people who went to the High Court and actually got a judgment back in 2019.
I know, yeah, I know. Were you lied to by post office bosses personally?
Absolutely. I mean, when I saw Alan Bates and I was the first minister to see him, I was really alarmed that what he was saying was different from what I was being told. So I asked it to go again and asked officials to quiz the post office officials, get categorical assurances, and they lied to me. They lied to other ministers too, by the way. And what is so shocking, we've seen that in the inquiry, they lied to the courts. That's why there needs to be a criminal investigation.
And it sounds as though there will be, but it has to wait.
Yeah, the timing. Yeah. But think if you're a postmaster, you've waited for years, and you're still waiting for the compensation in too many cases.
Do you think Paula Venables knew what was going on?
Well, if she didn't, she should have. Right? The inquiry will come to those judgments. But I think it's not just her. I think there's a lot of people in the post office and in Fujitsu, by the way, who need to be held to account. This is a scandal on a terrific scale. When a state organisation lies in this dramatic way, when there is lies told over many, many years, not just to ministers. I'm more worried about lies to sub-postmasters and the courts, actually. But you can't do government if people who are supposed to tell the truth. That's why we want to change the law, by the way. There's the compensation, there's the inquiry, there's the criminal investigations, but we need to change in the law. There are just too many scandals, Kay, and I think there needs to be what's called a duty of candour to require people to tell the truth if they're in public office, and if they don't, that's a criminal offence in and of itself. We need to support whistleblowers who blow the whistle. We wouldn't have had this come to light when it did if it hadn't been for a whistleblower in Fujitsu who gave critical evidence at the 2019 High Court hearing, which proved that the post office...
We've all seen Mr Bates versus the post office.
Yeah.
There we go.
But it tells a story, and why are we waiting so long?
What the post office did has been described as evil and a deliberate conspiracy and cover-up. Do you agree with that characterisation?
Yes, I do. Absolutely do.
Did you have any sympathy for Paula Venables when she cried during her testimony?
Well, I've looked at this from the sub-postmaster's position, because I think we have to. They're the ones who've suffered so badly, and they just want justice. They want people to be held to account. They wanted the inquiry. I and many others campaigned for that.
I mean, or were there crocodile tears?
I don't.
Tears for herself, certainly.
Let the inquiry come to its conclusions. Let the police take their investigations forward, and let, above all, the compensation be paid. That's, I think, is where we need to get to.
And where are we on WASPy women?
Well, I'm really disappointed. I thought the government was going to do the right thing. I hope they change their minds. The Ombudsman looked at this for 5 years. Well, didn't do it really quickly, 5 years. And he identifies where the mistake was made. So, if you remember, it goes back all the way to 1993 when the first announcement was made. But what the Ombudsman shows is that between, I think about 2005, 2007, the then Labour government and the DWP were informed that many, many people hadn't heard about it. Many women preparing for retirement weren't aware that the state retirement age had been increased. And so they were under a duty to inform them properly, to write them letters, and they failed to do that properly. And that's why the Independent Ombudsman made the ruling, and why I think it's incumbent that the state compensates people when we've had this special report.
Yeah, the government's saying we didn't send the letters because we didn't think you'd read them anyway.
I mean, astonishing, isn't it? Just astonishing.
Right, just before we let you go, just let's end where we started as far as the song is concerned.
Yeah.
Are you going to do an album? What's the plan?
I don't think that would sell terribly well, but I hope the young carers could. I mean, what I've been really impressed by is the quality of their music. And there's a wider issue about music in schools, music in colleges. I think it's so important to people's well-being. And talking to the young carers, they say how much this has meant to them, how it gives them a break from caring, but it also lifts them up. And I think when we're worried about young children and young adults' mental health, things like singing and music and sport, so important.
You're wearing that Christmas jumper for a bet?
I was getting the mood. Hey, it's my birthday on Christmas Day. I'm allowed to get in the mood.
I know that. You've ruined it. I was going to say that at the end. Yesterday, when we talked about it, we said it was your birthday on Christmas Day. Yeah. Do you have your presents, Christmas presents, and then a birthday present at a different time?
Well, we now have it on the same day, because I've got kids, and Christmas is about them, right?
Mm.
Not about someone who's been around a little while. When I was younger, my amazing mum used to give me a Christmas of my own, a birthday party of my own about 2 weeks before. Because you can't have your mates around on your birthday, can you, if it's on Christmas Day?
No, I know. But do people say to you, this is for your birthday and for Christmas?
Some people do, but listen, as a child, I sometimes got bigger presents, so I'm not going to complain.
Oh, I didn't. My birthday yesterday, I used to get, this is for your birthday and for Christmas, and I once had a boyfriend who bought me diamond earrings, and he gave me one on my birthday and one on Christmas.
Well, what kind of... I've got to be careful what I say here.
Nothing. Best to say nothing if not sure. Good luck. We hope that you get to number one at Christmas, and happy birthday
Thank you very
for Christmas Day. Thank you.